In English, I think we'll begin. Good morning, everyone. My name is Heather Ripple. I serve as co-secretary of association along with Brother Paco Chiva. We want to thank you all for being here this morning or this afternoon or this evening, wherever in the world you might be. And we're excited to share with you and begin to unpack as a Lasallian family this most recent document, Lasallian Spirituality Today. So we're grateful for your time here this morning. We will have another one of these calls this afternoon, Rome time, for those in the other part of the world. We also are very grateful for our translators for their help this morning. We really want to allow ourselves time to hear and learn about the document today. So we have just a short prayer and reflection. Let us remember that we are in the holy presence of God, and let us adore him.
Adorémosle.
When the think tank came together to begin to process what our work would be, we spent significant time looking at the meditations, the words, and the inspiration from our founder. And as the document itself says, the Lasallian spirituality that drives the mission today is empowered and shaped by the character, charism, and vision of St. John Baptist de La Salle and the First Brothers. So we reflect this morning on the words of our founder. Make no distinction between the duties of your profession and those that refer to your salvation and perfection. Be convinced that you will never achieve your salvation more surely, nor acquire greater perfection than by fulfilling well the duties of your profession, provided you do so with the view of God's will. Live Jesus in our hearts forever.
Por siempre.
I'd like to invite Brother Paco Chiva now to share with you a little bit more about our time together today and to introduce our speakers. Brother Paco?
Hello, good morning from Rome. Thank you very much for your availability and for accompanying us and joining us in this presentation throughout these the coming minutes. There will be two important moments. The first one, Brother George and Adriana are going to present to us, to introduce the history and the way of developing this document. The second moment, Brother Valer is going to introduce us in the work we'll do by language groups. We will explain to you how to do it in order to share how each one of us in our districts, in our educational ministries, we can help to disseminate and to work and to make the document being reflected and shared. So let us start the first part, the presentation of this document. Brother George and Adriana are two members of the group, a group of around 10 people who were working on this. They will present to you the origins and the history of this document. Please, the floor is yours. You are muted, Brother George. Brother George, you are muted.
Thank you. Welcome to everyone. It's a pleasure for me to speak about some of the history behind the document. The Lasallian Spirituality Today booklet that was made available to the Institute in April 2023 is the result of a 3-year project sponsored by the Secretariat for Association and the Secretariat of Lasallian Research and Resources. It was first planned as a series of 3 in-person meetings in Rome, where a small group of international participants would address the topic of Lasallian spirituality. But instead, it became a series of often 2-hour monthly Zoom sessions over a period of 2.5 years, followed by 1 week together at the Mother House in Rome. This is a short overview of that journey. In February of 2019, a report on the experience of association in the Institute showed that a deeper understanding of Lasallian spirituality was both needed and wanted. The report proposed that an effort be made that would elaborate a vision for the 21st century on Lasallian spirituality. This topic has been addressed in different Institute documents, but we needed to explore the best way to build a better shared understanding of the nature of Lasallian spirituality along with its essential components. The group would determine whether its work would result in a written document, a set of activities, or something else. Adriana?
Hola, buenos días, buenas tardes.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon to all of you. The concern for carrying out this process of reflection arose from the need felt and expressed by Lasallians in the different regions to deepen our spirituality and to have a resource that would allow us to unleash processes of reflection and shared study in order to understand and live our spirituality better based on the diverse realities that we Lasallians live today. We then sought to build a document which, containing the essential features of our spirituality, would be accessible and profound, and in which Lasallians from different parts of the world would feel identified, and would be an invitation to return to our roots and discover our richness.
So in the fall of 2019, where the Paco Chiva and Heather Rupel from the Secretariat of Association, along with me from the Secretariat for Lasallian Resources and Research, proposed an international think tank. The group was called to develop a vision and actions to develop Lasallian spirituality in the context of the Lasallian family. The proposal received the endorsement from the General Council and CML in February of 2020. It was then determined that an international survey would be helpful in determining both the current realities of Lasallian spirituality formation and the resources that existed in the area of Lasallian spirituality. Therefore, an international survey, online survey, was created and sent out, inviting each district or delegation to share the programs and resources that they used to develop a deeper understanding of Lasallian spirituality within their Lasallian family. The survey also asked about possible future programs and possible resources that could be developed from the center of the Institute or elsewhere. There were 43 responses to the survey, with many districts digitally sharing program information and resource documents. The results of the survey were analyzed and combined into a comprehensive report And the report was sent to the think tank participants and to the members of the General Council. In March of 2020, invitations to participate in the think tank were sent to a variety of Lasallians from different parts of the Institute. And the first meeting in Rome was scheduled for October 2020. Of course, the world shut down, and the pandemic prevented the October meeting from happening. Instead, regular email communications among those who had accepted the invitations led to a Zoom meeting in October instead. We decided to continue with the Zoom meetings, and over the next 18 months, there were 12 Zoom sessions, each lasting 90 minutes or more. All of them were rich in conversation, input, and mutual listening. Sometimes we had guest speakers, but generally, we explored different aspects of Lasallian spirituality in our lives and in the lives of others. Membership of the think tank fluctuated somewhat during the course of the project. Personal and professional conflicts prevented several people from fully participating, and other members were added. All members of the group had Lasallian experience or connections. There were representatives from Canada, the United States, Colombia, Great Britain, Austria, Malaysia, Australia, and Africa. The consistent participants included 5 men, 3 of whom were brothers, and 5 women. Most were Catholic or Christian, 1 was a Buddhist. After the first series of Zoom meetings in February of 2021, Adriana Bolanos from Mexico was invited to join us as a facilitator, and this added a helpful focus to the group's work. By June of 2021, it became clear to the group that our discussions and deliberations were leading us toward the creation of a short, accessible document that could be a resource for those exploring the experience of Lasallian spirituality. A writing committee began to work on various drafts, starting in June of 2021. These drafts changed and developed in line with our ongoing monthly Zoom meetings and provided a tangible conversation resource for our reflection and our discussion. The document took shape through an online collaboration platform that allowed individual members to review, comment, edit, or suggest changes to the text. Near the end of the pandemic, in July 2022, the think tank members were able to meet at the Mother House in Rome. Some could not attend in person and attended via Zoom. The group developed its awareness of inter-religious realities by scheduling a morning discussion with representatives of the Muslim and Buddhist communities in Rome. And we visited the Rome synagogue, where a rabbi spoke with us about the Jewish tradition. The majority of our time was spent on finalizing the document and providing input for an added Horizons section, which was written by a designated subcommittee. It is important to highlight that the booklet combines a variety of elements, each of which has been a focus for our discussion during one or more of our Zoom sessions. The text is one component, but much time was also spent on the graphic image that centered Lasallian spirituality around the presence of God. The image of a spiral galaxy struck us as a good way of illustrating the 3 major arms that emerge from Lasallian spirituality's central focus on the presence of God. The three spirals are faith in God's ways, which is a contemporary way of describing providence, together and by association, the relational and community dimension of our charism, and passion for mission, which is our zeal for educational ministry. We wanted this graphic to be dynamic, and a dynamic version was created as a supplement to the document. That one may be seen on the Institute website. We can't show it here. Diana?
En este proceso de reflexión, de diálogo,
In this process of reflection, dialogue, and analysis, we became aware that Lasallian spirituality has a series of features which lead us to discover the importance of education and relationships as a means of encountering people and God. That is why our spirituality gives great importance to dialogue as a means of encounter between people and as a way of finding the meaning of life. As de La Salle said, we are mediators of love and of the presence of God who accompanies us. And this can only be achieved through a close, a constant relationship, a relationship that educates. Faith, zeal, or in other words, passion for mission, and the experience of community are essential features of our spirituality. Spirit of faith that tells us, drives us to look at nothing but with the eyes of faith, but to do nothing but with our eyes on God, and to attribute everything to God. Faith to discover the presence of God in what we live. Faith to discover our own possibilities and those of our students. Passion for the mission, which leads us to seek new paths, to give all for the mission, and to live it in community together with our Lasallians, brothers and lay partners who share the same dream, the same mission, the same spirituality. Spirituality leads us to see and to live education in a particular way. It makes us to have a style, special style of educators. It invites us to be teachers, educators, and lifelong learners who perceive learning and teaching as a sacred endeavor that is deeply relational and that has its heart in educating minds, touching hearts, and transforming the lives of those entrusted to us. An incarnational spirituality that is grounded in faith leads us to discover the presence of God in all the events we experience, in the people we meet. An incarnational spirituality sees the school as a place of salvation, a sign and promise that God lives with us, and God pours His love and His grace through us. We are mediators of God's love, and there's no doubt the best way to learn about Lasallian spirituality is to be part of an authentic Lasallian educational community. The third component, or the third part of the document, corresponds to horizons. From the richness of our Lasallian spirituality, we can and we want to see 5 commitments which can combine our efforts to live more deeply our Lasallian identity, our spirituality, to be educators of wisdom in order to accompany the journey of our students, their process of searching for meaning, for transcendence. Number 2, to be witnesses of transcendence, because we live the profound sense of God's presence. Every encounter, every moment becomes a sacred space that opens up multiple possibilities for growth. Also, to be promoters of dialogue, who are grateful for differences, who speak from the heart, who find the points of union to bring about true encounters. The 4th, to be experts in accompaniment, people who know how to share their journey with others based on trust and compassion, creating fraternal relationships that gave rise to living and authentic communities, and the last horizon, to be agents of transformation, who build paths to harmonize society, to integrate the fully human and the divine, to collaborate in the creation of a world that is more fraternal, more just, more human, more open to the God we discover in the people around us, Lasallians, who seek to live the spirituality even more fully.
Thank you, Adriana. We were also very fortunate to have the talent of Joe Malaya in Great Britain, who provided the graphics and the cover of the book. And the layout of the final booklet was done under the supervision of Brother Paco. This project has been both challenging and rewarding. It did not start the way that we had anticipated, and it did not proceed in the way that we had planned. But it did become something that we are very happy with. Many hours of work, moments of crisis or disagreement, and a great amount of listening and talking has resulted in a document that carries the richness of our shared Lasallian experience, which is always thoughtful, persistent, and moves ahead despite obstacles. Finally, grateful for those who travel with us on this educational journey. Each one of us has been blessed by being part of this project, and we sincerely hope that its results will be a grace for others as well. But we know that this is something that will be guided by the Holy Spirit through the ongoing charism that De La Salle plants in our hearts each day. We certainly thank you for participating in the next step of this shared journey.